My dearest little champions, I welcome you all to score 99% in 99 days. And today we are going to solve the most awaited thing, that is PYQs, previous year questions of the chapter that is heredity. I know it might be tough for a few. I have seen a few children requesting to me personally that please ma'am, can you do this chapter, which is why I started off this particular thing. Okay, so let's solve all the questions. Be very positive, you would be able to do it. So let's get started. Over here, the first question that we are having is question number 1, which says that a cross between pea plant with white flowers, okay, so white flowers are there and it is small v, okay, and pea plant with violet flowers, so violet flowers are also there, and that is what, children? Capital V, resulted in, okay, the cross between pea plant with white flowers and pea plant with violet flowers resulted in FT progeny, in which ratio of violet and white flowers will be? Oh my god, too much confusion. They're just asking you what will be the ratio of this and this in the F2 generation. So for that we have to find the F1 generation, right? So we have the violet flowers, let's make it. So we have parent, and parent is what? Capital V. Other parent is small v. This one is white and this one is the violet one. Cool. Now we form the gamete. Now gametes, listen. This is on one chromosome, this is on another chromosome. Either this chromosome can come, either this chromosome can come in a gamete. Because you know gametes are formed when half the number of chromosomes are coming, right? So only one gamete among a pair can come. Sorry, one chromosome among a pair can come. So basically either it can be this. So in the gamete 1, it can be capital V. In the gamete 2, anyways, it will be capital V only. Here also there is no choice. It will be small v and then it will be small v. Okay, this is not U, this is V, okay. Now, the gametes, the parents are done. Now, let's find F1 generation. Please write your answers like this. For F1 generation, you make an arrow like this. This gamete can fuse with this. Then, the thing that you will get is capital V, small v. This gamete can fuse with this. Again, you get capital V, small v. This gamete can fuse with this, you get capital V, small v. This gamete can fuse with this, you get capital V, small v. If I see all of them are capital V, small v. Okay, if I am asking you how do they look, children, that means I am asking you the phenotype. Phenotype as in physical feature. What is the phenotype of all this thing? They are all violet, ma'am. Why are they violet? Because capital V was the dominant thing. So capital V means it is dominant. This particular feature has to be dominant. So violet is dominant, which is why all of them, children, are violet in color. What is the genotype? What is the genetic makeup? They all are capital V, small v, ma'am. Now we are asked to find the F2 generation, the ratio in F2 generation. So we have to take two of them. Let's take this one and this one, any two. So this will be the parent now. Parent will be capital V, small v. Here also it will be capital V, small v. What about the gametes? Either this can come or this can come. So let's make either this or this. Similarly, either this or this. These are the gametes. Always surround them, okay? Then after the gametes, you have F2 generation. So over here, this gamete can fuse with this, gives me capital V. Okay, which gives me violet flowers. I'll write it. I'll forget it. Okay. Now, this with fuse with this gives me capital V, small v. This is again violet. This will fuse with this gives me capital V, small v. Always write the capital letter first. Okay. So this again will be violet. Fine. This when I fuse with this, I get small v. For the first time, I got white. Now, they are asking you what? The ratio of violet flowers to white flowers. They are asking you the ratio of this type of violet flowers. So this is also violet, this is also violet. You call this condition as homozygous condition, where both of them are same, where both the alleles are same. This is heterozygous, where both the alleles are different. But since it is dominant, it becomes violet in color. So they are asking you about homozygous condition. So you see among 4 of them, only one is violet like this. Homozygous violet. Similarly, white also there is only one which is like this. So what will be the ratio? The ratio will be 1:1. So your answer become 1:1. It came in this year. Okay. Now if you are asked about the phenotypic ratio, phenotypic ratio of F2 generation, how will you write the answer? Phenotypic as in physical features. So phenotypically I can see the 3 of them are violet and 1 of them is white. So I'll say phenotypic ratio is 3:1. If I am asked about the genotypic ratio, okay, what is the genotype? How will I be able to find it? The genotypic ratio, as in you're talking about the genes, okay, the genetic makeup. So I see one is the homozygous over here, 2 of them are heterozygous like this, they have different things, and one is again homozygous like this, but this is small v. So can I say one is capital V, 2 of them are capital V, small v, and one of them is what? Small v. So this is what the genotypic ratio. And this is what the phenotypic ratio. Got it? I just explain it to you because you might need it later on. So this is the answer for this question, because they just ask you about violet and white. Please remember, you have to take notice of this. They are asking you for this. Don't go right for all the violet plants. 3:1, don't go do that, okay? They are asking you specifically for this. Next question. Which pair of sex chromosome will determine a male? So a male always have XY chromosome. Female on the other hand will be having XX chromosome. So if you are asked who is responsible for the sex of the child, you say it is male, but actually you should not be saying that, but anyways, because females were blamed for it, there had to be scientific research done on it, according to which the female always contributes just X chromosome. Either of her XL will always have X chromosome. Whereas when you talk about males, his sperm can have either X or Y. Okay, now if this X come, then it will be a girl child. If this Y is coming, then it will be a boy child. So basically, scientifically speaking, it will be the male who decides the sex of the child. So it is XY. Okay, next. Which one of the given statement is incorrect, my dear children? Let's find out that. DNA has the complete information for a particular character. Exactly. DNA definitely has the information stored in the form of genes. DNA, if you see DNA has segments, okay, and these segments, you call these segments as genes, and each gene will be coding for each protein, and each protein is responsible for all our character. So if you change protein, it will change our character also. So DNA has the complete information for particular character is true. DNA is the molecule responsible for inheritance of characters from the parent to offspring. Yes, we do not have anything else. So parents pass their DNA, this is how we get it. We get all the information. This is how we look, almost similar to our parents, not exactly similar. Now, change in information will produce a different protein. Yes, if you're changing the information over here, you're going to make some other protein. So this is also true. Characteristics will remain the same even if protein changes. Do you think the protein changes and the characteristics remain the same? No, children. Each protein will decide each character as well. So this is a wrong statement that you are having over here. So this is the incorrect one, and I'll tell you one tip. Whenever you are solving question, okay, and this is about correct and incorrect and stuff like that, what you can do is please mark what is it asking, incorrect or correct one, because sometimes we look for correct statements, and I know it happens to everyone, okay, so please do mark it. Now, in an experiment with pea plants, a pure tall pea plant is crossed with pure short plant. What do you mean by pure? Pure always means homozygous, as in both the alleles are same. As in both the alleles are same. So here pure tall as in capital T, pure short as in small t. The ratio of pure tall plant to pure short plants in F2 generation will be the ratio of pure tall plants to pure short plants. Again, please, they are not asking you for tall is to short ratio. They are asking you pure tall as in capital T and small t ratio. So this question is exactly similar to this. So you had capital T, small t over here. You got all capital T, small t over here. Then you fused capital T, small t, capital, like this. Okay, wait. You fused, this is the F1 generation product that you got, okay. Now we are going to fuse this. So either it can be capital T or it can be small t. It can be capital T or it can be small t. This is the gamete. This is the parent. This is the F2 generation. When you fuse this with this, you get capital T. When you fuse this with this, you get capital T, small t. This is also tall. This is also tall. When you fuse this with this, you get capital T, small t. This is again tall. When you fuse this with this, you get small t, small t. This is what? Dwarf. Okay, now they are asking you the ratio of tall plants to short plants. You have not seen the pure word, you are losing your mark over here. They are asking for pure. Pure is only one. There is only one tall pure like this, and there is only one tall dwarf like this. So 1:1 will be the answer. The ways people can fool you, my dear children, and me also at times. When I was solving, even I got confused. What are they asking? But then I thought that no, Jasmine, we have to work hard, and I did work hard. Yeah, so you also have to work out. Work hard, not work out. Okay, now MCQs are done. Next thing, let's go to assertion and reasons. So assertion says, in humans, if gene B, capital B, is responsible for black eyes and gene small b is responsible for brown eyes, then the color of eyes of the progeny having gene combination capital B, small b, small b, capital B will be black only. Can it be black only? When you are saying that capital B is for black, you already told it, right? And small b is for brown. How can this be, all of them be black? Yes, this can be black because there is a dominant allele over here. Capital B is there, that means capital letter means it is dominant. So obviously it will be dominant over this, it will be black. Here also both of them are dominant, so it will also be black. But what about this guy? This has both of them as small, the small b's. Okay, there is no dominant allele over here. So it will be brown? No. How can it be black? So this statement is wrong. Okay, next statement. The black color of the eye is a dominant trait. With this thing, can you say the black color of the eye is a dominant trait? I can see that capital B is denoted for black. No, capital B, that means it is dominant. So black color of the eye is dominant trait because capital B is for black, so it has to be dominant. So this is correct. Reason is correct and assertion is false. Assertion is true, reason is false. No, assertion is false, reason is true. Easy. Okay, next question. Assertion says human populations show a great deal of variation in traits. Yes, we are showing great deal of variations in the traits. Okay, all variations in a species have equal chances of surviving in the environment in which they live. Do you think that all the variations that we have, for example, I have X variation, you have Y variation, and X and Y variation, both of them is allowing both of us to stay over here? No, children. Have equal chances of survival? No. Probably there are chances that you have some good variation when the climate changes, and when I am not able to survive, you might be able to survive because of the variation that you are having over here. So this does not give us equal chances of survival. If that was true, then probably we would not have different species over here in the world. Okay, so basically that is not true. Okay, all of us have different variations which lets us to survive in different conditions as well. So this is never equal. If it was equal, no one would have died. So basically this is wrong. So statement, assertion A is correct and reason R is false. Cool? Are you understanding? If you are understanding, do not forget to leave a like and a comment. Okay, and also tell it to your friends that yes, you have to study heredity, and there is a channel and there are so many people behind this channel working hard. We have parallel channels also, we have made a channel for you guys because we know 10th grade is there and you might be having a board examination. So please make use of it. Okay, now question number 7. A Mendelian experiment consisted of breeding pea plants bearing violet flowers with, oh, this is a 1-marker question. Okay. Okay, a Mendelian experiment consisted of a breeding pea plant bearing violet flowers with pea plants bearing white flowers. Okay, in an experiment I did cross violet flowers with white flowers. What will be the result in F1 progeny? So if you know, you know. Okay, IK by K. So basically children, there are 7 pairs that he gave. Okay, 7 pairs of contrasting traits that Mendel gave. 7 pairs of contrasting traits. Contrasting as in opposite traits. For example, violet, white, axial, terminal, round, wrinkled, inflated, constricted, yellow, green, green, yellow. Tall, dwarf. These were the 7 pair of characters. This is for flower. Whenever you see violet, these are all dominant traits. These are all what, children? Dominant traits. These are all recessive traits. So if I have an allele for dominant trait, this will show up. So for flower, it will be always violet, that is dominant. For flower position of the flower, it will be always axial. Axial as in, for example, this is a flower. Axial as in flowers coming from this. This is axial. Flower comes at the tip, this is terminal. So always axial flowers are the one that is dominant. If this allele is there, it will be axial. Now round, this is the shape of the seed. Shape of the seed. Okay. Now inflated and concentrated, as in you have seen P. If it is P, no, you get it the full thingy. Okay. If it is inflated, it has air in it, that means it is dominant. Concentrated as in it is very dry. It looks like this. If it is like this, it is inflated. If it is like this, is constricted. So inflated one is the one that is better, dominant one. So this is pod shape. Now seed color. Seed color, yellow one is dominant, but we always eat green one, but okay. The green dominant has nothing to do with the protein content and things like that, okay, it just increases, okay. Anyways, I'm not going detail into that. So green and yellow is there, this is for pod color. So pod color, we always take P, that is green in color, so it is the dominant one, we usually find it normally. And tall as in the height of the plant. So these are the 7 pairs, and he already gave that these characters that you see over here, they are all dominant. So if you see dominant trait over here mentioned, that means basically, sorry, these traits over here, that means this will be dominant, this will be shown up in the F1 generation. This will be shown up in the F1 generation. So a Mendelian experiment consisted of breeding pea plant bearing violet flowers with pea plants bearing white flowers. What will be the result in F1 progeny, my children? All of them will be violet because violet is dominant. All of them will be violet in color. Cool. Next, when a cell reproduces, what happens to its DNA? When a cell is reproducing, as in when a cell is dividing itself into 2 cells, what happens to the DNA? The DNA which is in there, children, it is also getting copied, and hence, what do you call this process as? The copying of DNA? This is known as DNA replication. DNA replication happens, one copy is sent over here, another copy is sent over here. So DNA replication definitely happens. So when a cell reproduces, what happens to its DNA? The DNA also gets replicated. That happens to the DNA. Okay, DNA replication happens, or DNA gets duplicated or replicated. Next, why is variation important for a species? Why do you think variation is important for a species? Because suppose there is one bacteria 1, and there is another bacteria 2. This has some variation in its DNA, okay, and this does not have that particular variation. This is the one that with variation. All of a sudden, there is heat storm happening. This bacteria does not have variation, it won't be able to survive, whereas this had the variation which would let this particular bacteria survive during this, then this is good, right? So why is variation important for a species? Because it might allow survival during unexpected times. The answer is here, read it once. Variation is important because a population has a better chance of surviving and flourishing than a population with limited, okay, not that, than a population with limited variation, which is why variations are really important. Cool. Next, newly formed DNA copies may not be identical at times. Give one reason. So when newly formed DNA, so this is DNA, when it gets copied, okay, it has to uncoil itself, it has to form 2 DNA strands like this, and then a new DNA strand is being formed over here. This is how the copies are being made. When this copy is being made, there could be certain errors. There could be certain errors during replication. Okay, which is why the DNA copies are not exactly similar. Okay, which is why the DNA copies would not be exactly, over here that there might be errors, over here there might not be errors, which is why the copies are not similar to each other. Okay, so there is error in DNA copying, inaccuracies in DNA copying, this would lead to what? The the differences in them. These are all 1 marker question, which is why I am not explaining very much, but I hope you are understanding the concept. Cool. Next, this is a 2 marker question. In a cross between red colored and white colored flowers, when the plants with the red colored flowers of F1 generation were self-pollinated, plants of F2 generation were obtained in which 75% of the plants with red color were with red flowers and 25% plants were with white flowers. Explain the inheritance in the above cross with the help of a flowchart only along with the ratio of the plants obtained. Too much confusion, right? So let's make it easy. Okay, chalo, let's do the job. So in a cross between red colored flower and white colored flower, you underline it. Okay, when the plants with red flowers of F1 generation were self-pollinated, plants of F2 generation were obtained in which 75% of the plants were red and 25% of the plants were white. So 75 and 25 means 3:1 ratio. 75% means 3 and 25% means 1. So it is following 3:1 ratio. That means basically over here you can find, you will be able to find something like this in the F2 generation. That is what they are trying to say. That is what they are trying to say. Okay, or basically they are trying to say that the red plants, we have to prove this, right? So you have the red plants and then you have the white colored plants. Please remember, don't write WW over here. Always go with the capital letters. So the dominant trait. Okay. When you are saying the red flowers were 75%, that means red is dominant. Just understand this particular fact. When you are saying 75% of them are dominant or red color, that means it is dominant. Okay. Now, take the dominant letter, capital R, and make it small. So this will be smaller. This will be the white flowers. This will be the red flowers. These are the parents. Now let's make the gametes. Please don't P like this in the exam, okay? The gametes will be capital R, small r, smaller. And now the F1 generation that you will be having will be this and this, capital R, smaller, capital R, smaller, capital R, smaller, capital R, smaller. Children, explain the inheritance of traits in the above cross with the help of a flow chart only along with the ratio of the plants obtained. So over here you see phenotype, if we say all are red. Genotype, if you say there is no ratio needed, all are capital R, smaller. Okay, now we want F2 generation. So for that we have to take 2 plants. Again, parent will be capital R, smaller, one more capital R, smaller. When you are selfing, this process is known as selfing, when you are crossing between the progenies itself. Over here the gametes are kind of different. Let's see. The gametes will be capital R, smaller, capital R, smaller. 2 types of gametes are being produced. What is the F2 generation? This fuses with this to give capital R, capital R. This fuses with this to give capital R, small r. This fuses with this to give capital R, small r. This fuses with this to give small r, small r. Okay, so over here, if I ask you the phenotypic ratio, for that you have to find the phenotype. I see 1, 2, 3. All of them, they are white in color. No, they are not white in color, they will be red in color because R is dominant, right? So over here it's homozygous, so it is red obviously. Over here capital R is there, so it will dominate over the small r, so it will also be red. Over here again it will be red. Over here there is no one to dominate, so it will be white. So phenotypic ratio, if I see, 3 of them are red, physical character, okay, 3 of them are red and 1 is white. So phenotypic ratio becomes what? 3:1. What do you mean by genotype? The genetic makeup. So genotypically if I see, 1 is capital R, small r, the 2 of them are capital R, small r. Sorry, this is capital R, this is capital R, small r, 2 of them, and 1 is small r, small r. So genotypic ratio becomes 1:2:1, and you have to write it properly. 1 means capital T, sorry, capital R, 2 means capital R, small r, and 1 means small r, small r. Write properly. When you write like this, phenotypic ratio also, when you write phenotypic ratio also, you have to write 3 tall 3:1, that is dwarf. Write like this, please. Okay, very much important. If you're messing this up, you're messing a lot of things up. So explain the inheritance of traits in the above cross with the help of a flow chart. This is the flow chart that you have to make. Only along with the ratio of the plants obtained, you have to mention the ratio of the plants also properly. This is the ratio of F2 generation. This is what you found in F1 generation. Okay, this is how you have to write the answer. When a pure red flower plant is crossed with a pure white flower plant, please, they both are pure, right? So write like that. In the next generation, plants with red flowers are produced. Yes, it is called Mendel's monohybrid cross. This is what Mendel's monohybrid cross. Over here, he is taking one character, only one character. When it's taking one character that is of color, when it is coming together, we are bringing hybrid things. There are new hybrids that are being formed, which is why it is known as monohybrid cross. So phenotypic ratio is this, genotypic ratio is this. Okay, make it like this, that will be more better. So first case, second case, genotypic ratio, phenotypic ratio, and explain your answer a bit. Okay, cool. Don't hesitate, it's a 2 marker. Should I tell the answer like this? Yes, you should be. You should be mentioning everything. I just made it like this, which is why it looks big. This also is the same thing. Okay, now next thing. What is genetics, children? Genetics is the study of inheritance. Okay, study of inheritance. What are genes? Genes are units of inheritance. Where are the genes located? Genes are located on the DNA. On the DNA, you have genes. Okay, you will be having genes, and genes comes in different format. For example, both of these genes are coding for a protein that is coding for height. Both of these genes are coding for a protein that is coding for height. This can be A gene, this can be small a gene. There are 2 alleles. What are these? There are 2 different types of a gene that is coding. This might be coding for some protein. This might be coding from some other protein or probably lesser protein. But anyway, this is a gene. So these 2 types of a same thing. Okay, both of them, they are coding for the same trait or the same character. So I call these variations as alleles. I call these variations as alleles. All the genes will be having alleles, their own different type of alleles, my dear children. Okay, so what is genetics? Genetics is a branch of biology that deals with the study of genes and heredity in organism. This came as a question. Now, genes are basic unit of heredity. They are linear segments of DNA which codes for a gene product. Genes are located on the chromosomes. Works? Cool? Chalo, next. This is a 3 marker question. A green stemmed rose plant denoted by GG. That means it is dominant trait. Green color is dominant. I'm writing it now only. Okay. And a brown stemmed rose plant denoted by small g are allowed to undergo a cross with each other. List your observations regarding color of stem in the F1 progeny. Let's see. This is the parent. This is the gametes. This is the F1 progeny. So, gamete is capital G. Over here, small g. Okay, when you fuse this with this, you get capital G small g. When you fuse this with this, you get capital G small g. When you fuse this with this, you get capital G small g. This with this, again capital G small g. Children, F1 progeny, tell me, are they brown or are they green? They will be green because there is one to dominate over here. All of them, children, will be green in color. So, color of the stem will be green. How will you show it? You have to make this and then tell. Okay, don't just go there. Right, the phenotype of F1 generation will be green. Now, percentage of brown stem plants in F2 progeny if F1 plants are self-pollinated. So we have to self-pollinate them. Let's see. So capital G small g, capital G small g. This is the parent. Okay. Now the gamete that is being formed will be capital G small g, capital G small g. Now, when I fuse in F2 generation, what will I find? This and this I get capital G, this and this I get capital G, small g, this and this I get capital G, small g, this and this I get small g, small g. So, what is the percentage of brown stemmed plants in F2 progeny, children? If I see, all of them, they are green. Okay. This is homozygous green, this is heterozygous green, this will be dominant, this will be dominant. There is only one which is basically, which is brown in color. So, out of 4, if one is there, brown in color. So out of 100, if we say, out of 100, 3 of them are there, which are this, then that was 75% of them are green. 75% of them are green. Only 25% of them will be what, children? Brown. So what is the percentage? It will be 25%. You have to show it. Ratio of capital G and capital G and capital G small g in F2 progeny. So this is only 1. If you see this is 2. So what is in F2 progeny? 1 is to 2. Where 1 is what? Capital G small g. Sorry, capital G. And 2 is what? Capital G small g. You have to mention like that. How will I understand which one is 1? If you just go 1 and 2 and you come like that, it will be false. Okay, you won't get marks. So you write like this. That will be much better. Okay, so that person who is checking a paper should understand what do they mean. Based on the findings of this cross, what conclusion can be drawn? Conclusion can be drawn that capital G, or basically green color, is a dominant trait and it is following the rules of the Mendel's hybrid cross, monohybrid cross. Okay, I can find that capital G is dominant trait, which is why it has been shown, and it is also following the rules of Mendel's inheritance. Okay, monohybrid cross. Chalo. Oh, I have mentioned the answer over here. Don't see the answer. Okay, mention the total number of chromosomes along with the sex chromosomes that are present in a human female and a male. Total number of chromosomes along with the sex chromosomes. So children, in human beings, how many number of chromosomes do we have? 46 number of chromosomes we have. 46 of chromosomes comes in 23 pairs. In this 23 pair, 22 pair are known as autosomes, which are responsible for all our secondary characters. Okay, 23rd pair that we are having, children, it is the pair of sex chromosome, which you also call as allosome. Okay, now you have to tell the total number of chromosomes along with the sex chromosome that are present in a human female. So in human female there will be 22, basically 22 into 2 is 44 normal plus XX. Okay, in the male, this is for female. Okay, this is for female. For male, it will be total number of chromosome will be 44 plus X and Y. Explain how in sexually producing organism the number of chromosome in the progeny remains same as that of the parents. How do you think it remains same? Because what happens is that if we say 23 pair, for example, this is a pair of chromosome. This is again a pair of chromosome. How many of this you have, children? 23. What happens is that from this pair only one chromosome will be going ahead in the gamete. Only one chromosome will be going from each pair into a gamete. Okay, that is, we are halving the number of chromosomes. Okay, we are halving the number of chromosomes with the help of a process which is known as meiosis. So in meiosis, if I am starting with 46 number of cells, 46 number of chromosomes, I am dividing it into 23, 23. I am halving the number of chromosomes. Half the chromosomes goes to this gamete, half the chromosomes goes to this particular cell. Again, this cell will divide because meiosis has 2 stages, right? This is meiosis 1. Again, the cell will divide, give you 23 only. 2 cells having 23, it won't divide, reduce again. Okay, so each of the cells have 23 number of chromosome. Now this is supposed from the female. From the male also you will get one sperm like this. So 23 plus 23 gives you 46 again. So you're balancing things out. If you're not halving it now, then the gametes would not be having half the number of chromosome, it will be having double the number of chromosome. We do not want that to happen. So human male have 22 pairs of chromosome. That is basically, what do you mean by that? 44 chromosome, and male will be having XY. Okay, and the female will be having this plus XY. So female will be having this plus XX. Please remember, you can write 22 pair or you can write 44 number of chromosome. 22 pair or you can write 44 number of chromosomes. It's the same thing. The original number of chromosomes, the amount of DNA, becomes half during gamete formation. Okay, how it is possible, they are explaining that. The original number of chromosome becomes half during gamete formation. When the gametes fuse, the original numbers of chromosomes is restored in the progeny. So you can say that gametes are haploid. They have half the number of chromosomes. The zygote which is formed will become diploid when half and half comes together. This is how you can frame the answer. Put it in points and write the answer, please. Okay, works. Next. I think this is the last question. Is it last question? Let me see. Just a second. Yes, this is the last question. Okay. The most obvious outcome of reproductive process is the generation of individuals of similar design, but in sexual reproduction, they may not be exactly alike. The resemblances as well as differences are marked. The rules of heredity determine the process by which traits and characteristics are reliably inherited. Many experiments have been done to study the rules of inheritance. So this is a case study based question which might have nothing to do with these questions, but let's see. So why an offspring of human being is not a true copy of his parents in sexual reproduction? Why do you think he or she is not a true copy? Because in sexual reproduction, you are basically mixing the genetic material. You are receiving genetic material from a parent, another genetic material from another parent. So obviously, you will be having some amount of variations. Okay, so you will not be exact copy of either of your parents. So this parent will give you something, this parent will give you something. Now you are a combination, you are a new combination. You are a new combination, my dear children. You will be having both over here. Okay, so if you are having both, then you cannot resemble both. Okay, you might have similar character, few of them from here and here, but not all. Okay, so this is why an offspring of human being is not a true copy of his parents in sexual reproduction, because in sexual reproduction, the gametes carrying different genetic makeup are getting crossed. Genetic makeup are getting crossed, which is why you would not find it to be similar. Okay, now while performing experiments on inheritance in plants, what is the difference between F1 and F2 generation? In F1 and F2 generation, what is the differences that I can profoundly find? In F1 generation, I would be finding that there will be always the parent that has dominant trait. So all the progenies that will be produced, children, will be showing the dominant trait. Whereas in F2 generation, I will be seeing the recessive trait is also being mentioned. And how can I explain this? I have to give the example of this tall and the dwarf plant. Cross it and show it to them. Okay, this is how you can explain it well. Okay, so in the F1 progeny, you will be seeing that all of them are capital T small t. So all of them basically are dominant. So you see just the feature. You see just the character of one parent. Character of one parent is visible over here in F1 generation. Whereas in F2 generation, you will be seeing character of both the parents. Character of both parents. Cool. Now the third one. Why do we say that variations are useful for survival of a species over time? I already told you, because variations basically is differences in the genetic makeup, and if this differences is allowing an organism to survive, this is why it will be useful. Okay, this is how it will be useful. You can give the example of bacteria again. Say that one bacteria has variation, other bacteria does not have this variation. When the heat wave came, only one could survive which had that particular variation. So why do we say that variations are useful for survival of a species? Because these variations would allow them to survive during any of these variations, would let them be different and survive through any of the environmental challenges that comes along the way. Okay. Now, study Mendel's cross between two plants with a pair of contrasting characters, that is capital A, capital A, capital F, capital Y, that is round yellow, and wrinkled seed and green seed. Sorry, wrinkled and green seed. Now, pair of contrasting traits. Study of Mendel's cross between two plants of contrasting. Okay, the question which was actually asked is, what is the new combination that you could find? New combination that you could find. That was the question actually when you crossed both of them. So what is a new combination, children? Over here I will make it for you. Just give me a second. So you have capital R, capital R, capital Y, that is round and yellow, and wrinkled and yellow. So the first time W has been taken, that is generally put like that. So we do not know, the rules of genetics does not say so, but in NCERT it is given like this only for round and yellow, okay, and wrinkled and green, not yellow, it is wrinkled and green. So if you have noticed one thing, no, I'll tell you one thing. These both are dominant traits, capital R and Y. Similarly, small y and small w and small y are recessive traits, which is why they are given like this. Now, when you are asked about new combination, make combinations like this. Round and wrinkled are pair of contrasting traits, yellow and green are pair of contrasting traits. So let's take round first and pair it with next thing, that is green. So this is one new combination that you will be finding. You cannot put round and wrinkled. No, either of them will be coming in one plan. Again, if you want wrinkled was with green, now this time you can put it with yellow. This is the next new combination that you would be finding. Okay, this combination will also be there and this combination will also be there. You can write either yellow wrinkled, so either way it's the same thing only, that's why I added wrinkled yellow and round green. That becomes more correct, it becomes less confusing. So these are the new combinations that you could be finding. So you don't have to use too much of your brain in there. And if you want to remember the ratio of the dihybrid cross for F2 generation, it is 9:3:3:1. 9:3:3:1, where 9 goes for the dominant ones. So it will be always round and yellow. 1 will be for the recessive one. So it will be always wrinkled and green. And this 3 and 3 will be for the new things. So 3 of them will be round and green, 3 of them will be wrinkled and yellow. Easy, it's easy. So this is the parent dominant one will be 9. The parent recessive one will be the 1. And these 3 will be the new combinations that you could find. So round and green and wrinkled and yellow. And with this, we are completing the PYQs of this particular chapter. On Sunday, I will be giving you more questions from this particular chapter, mock test, as a mock test. And on Saturday, you will be having a revision for the same chapter. Okay, so if you're interested, you can come along. So that's all, my champions. With this, we have completed. If you think that this particular video was useful for you, then definitely do not forget to subscribe to our channel and also leave certain very cute comments or bad comments, whatever you want, whatever feedback you have, can give it to us. We'll receive it with lots of love. And I hope that you all are doing well. Please stay calm. Do not be worried about your exams. These are just exams. It will come and go. You have newer days coming for you. So wait for that. Just give your best each and every day. So bye-bye. Take care. Lots of love.